right. Oh, here we go.
Full
Everybody be on your
disclosure.
best behavior. I guess I should share the screen probably. Yeah, let me do that. And let me share. I'm going to share the agenda should be coming up on your screen here.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So
Mr. Chairman, whenever you're ready to start, the floor is
all right,
yours.
we're ready to start. Welcome everyone to the Ped Paddle and Paddle Committee for July 1st, 1:30. Thank you for being here. We'll start with introductions. So we'll quickly go through the NERC staff and then we'll identify who else is on the call. So just raise your hand and we'll start with, why don't we start with Bernadette, because you're in the top of my screen, and then you guys just take over from there and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
And don't forget you're on mute, Bernadette.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Slawinski, and I'm one of the town council members in Ogden Dunes. So Susan Mahalo would ask a few of us if we would participate in the meeting today. So I'm here to participate and see what goes on with NERC, because I don't believe we even have a representative from Ogden Dunes right now.
Yeah, we'd love to have one. Bernadette.
Welcome, Bernadette.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Go ahead, Mitch. I should have started with you.
That's okay. Mitch Barloga, Active Transportation Manager at the right here behind me, Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. Thank you for being on the call, everybody.
Floor.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Floor.
Thanks, guys. I'm sorry. I'm Flor Baum. I am the administrative assistant at NERC, and I am here to take the minutes.
Great. Thank you. Dahlia. Dahlia.
If she's unmuting herself.
Thank you. Name's Dahlia Gigas. I'm on the Michigan City Common Council. I'm just an advocate for trails, biking, paddling, etc., and want to know what's going on.
Great. Thank you. Scott.
Scott Kingen. I'm also a town council member here in Ogden Dunes, and just dialing in today to learn a little more about what the committee's working on and how things are progressing with the trail. So just here to gather information and hear what you all are talking about.
Excellent. Meredith.
Meredith Stillwell. I'm the office manager at NERC, and I am the official Zoom meeting starter.
Very important.
You're Mark.
And then the 865 person, 5530.
That's me, John Novosich, Superintendent, Cherville Park and Recreation, longtime 2 PC and 3 PC committee member. Maybe a 1 PC.
Paddle, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else do we have? J.E. Orsburn.
Yeah, that's Jenny Orsburn. I'm the program manager for the Indiana Lake Michigan Coastal Program, part of the Indiana Department of Natural Resources.
Great, thank you. Robert.
Robert, you're on mute.
Robert, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, he's trying to unmute himself right now. And he's still on mute.
All right, we'll come back.
And he left. So we'll move on.
Boy, there he is. Kevin.
I'm Kevin Polite. I am the technical assistant here at NERC. I do a lot of the data collecting for everything, including the trail counts, and I'm also the one recording the meeting.
Wonderful.
Robert's ready to go.
Robert.
Robert Boakland of the LaPorte County Conservation Trust.
Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Dan.
Hi, Dan Plath. I'll be representing the Northwest Indiana Paddling Association today.
Wonderful. Don Parker.
See if Don is, are you there, Don? If you're there, you're on mute. If you're not,
And
there,
we also
where
have,
are you?
and we also have Jerry Sweats with us. Did I miss anyone?
Well, yeah, I think you can go to Jerry.
Okay. Jerry.
Jerry Sweats, Town Council President and a new member of the 3P Committee. I'm anxious to serve.
Welcome,
Jerry. On board, Jerry.
Yes,
Don's ready.
And Andrew Karras, I'm represent the city of Crown Point, and I enjoy working on anything that has to do with trails. So thank you for all being here, and we'll did I get everybody, Mitch?
Well, I think Don can talk now. Can you talk, Don?
Hello, Don Parker, South Shore Trails.
Hi, Don.
And I think we have Don Oliphant.
Another Don.
I'm just with Christopher Burke, just kind of listening in.
And Brian Blazak.
I'm an also seated town council member in St. John and an associate of Jerry Sweat.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Thank you.
Okay, let's begin.
You have me, this is Mark Odell. Do you have me showing up?
Hey, Mark Odell. Hey, no, we don't. We have you as just some crazy phone number, but thanks for being here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, longtime 3PC member. My job is, along with John's, is to keep Mitch in line, basically.
That's impossible, but where are you from?
I know. That's a tough job. That's why we've been out here a long time. Thanks for letting me in the meeting.
Welcome.
Yeah, Mark's from Chesterton, town engineer.
Correct.
So moving forward, we'll catch anybody that joined later. The chair will ask a motion to approve the minutes of the March meeting.
So moved, Jerry Sweats.
Is there a second?
Second, Don Parker.
I guess, do you normally take votes for these, or is it just?
Yeah, it's usually acclamation.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We're not going to do roll call. Okay,
No.
proceed. All right, next item on our agenda is the updates. I'll turn it over to Mitch for pedal, and paddle.
Well, thank you, Andrew. And this is going to be kind of a bit of a chat-heavy agenda, although it should be brisk with updates. I don't really have much in the way of presentations right now. What I will share with the group is we are in the process of preparing the Marquette Greenway Raise Grant application. You may be familiar in the past that we have submitted applications for the previous acronyms, which were Tiger and Build. Now we have a new administration, we get a new acronym. That's how it goes. So it's RAISE, and don't ask me what that means, but I know the last letter is equity. So E is for equity. So the RAISE grant is kind of a home run shot type of application that we are looking to finish the entire Marquette Greenway on. The Marquette Greenway is a 60-mile trail that will go from South Chicago to New Buffalo, Michigan. We have over half of it either funded or built, and then the other half partially funded to some extent. I think there's only 19 miles of it that have yet to be funded in any part. So those partially funded and non-funded parts, 29 miles, will be applied for with this RAISE grant. At this time, the application will be in the $21 million ask. The entire project is going to be in the $45 million neighborhood to finish. So we will be asking for, about half or less than half of the actual amount of, or just over half the amount from the RAISE application. So we do have a couple of people, I think, on the line from Ogden Dunes that I've been working very closely with, and other stakeholders as well that have been helping out with this. Dahlia in Michigan City has been a great advocate as well. So the application is due to the United States Department of Transportation on July 12th. The selection will be made by Secretary Buttigieg by the end of the year. We have received many great letters of support for this project previously and currently, and I will be looking to patch this application together over the next couple of weeks, revising it accordingly. And we have Scott Weber on the line, I believe, who's a part of our staff. He's doing the math, so I give him a lot of credit for that. He's doing the benefit cost analysis work, which I run from, but he's doing the kind of stuff that we run from in the office, and God bless him for doing that. So that'll be part of this. And when it's all finished, we'll make it available for public viewing online. There'll be a link on our website, as there has been previously with other applications, so everyone can check it out and hope for the best. What I will say as a sidebar is, and not to confuse matters, but The state of Indiana received $3 billion in COVID relief money, the last bill that was passed by the Biden administration and Congress. And out of that $3 billion, they carved out several hundred million for a program called READY, not RAISE, READY. So let's get that straight. RAISE is a state grant, and it's to be applied for economic development purposes. And the trail is actually part of that. The Northwest Indiana Forum is preparing a READY grant, and the Marquette Greenway is requesting $5 million of that READY grant to Northwest Indiana. So the hope is we can take some of that READY money and apply it to the RAISE grant. Are we still clear? And we can help reduce our local match obligation and help out communities that need help on this, that aren't as maybe don't get the tax draw as other communities do. And there are several along the lakefront that do need that assistance. One I will point out specifically is Burns Harbor, because they were slapped with a new bridge construction over the Norfolk Southern tracks. Unfortunately, that's a $4 million add-on to their project, and they've already expended several hundred thousand, if not $1 million or $2 million on the project to date, and that's quite a bit for a community like Burns Harbor. So anyway, we're hoping to help out with those communities along the lakefront and to get this, again, make the application far more attractive for the reviewers at the Department of Transportation. So that's a mouthful, but I'll be more than happy to take any questions if they're out there.
Questions? If not, continue.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Item number 2 on the PED is the update on the bike map application. I don't know how well this is going to show up with the screen behind me. Usually I see it fades right away. That's our new map. So there you go. That's our new map. We have put out this map region-wide to all the libraries. We know that most municipalities have yet to pick up their box of maps. So if you have not done so, I know that there are several elected officials on the call that I know are part of communities that have yet to pick up the maps at our office. The way we have structured this in the past is that we at NERPC will kind of go out and deliver the boxes to libraries, but the communities usually have taken upon themselves to come to our office. We'll drop off the map with them. Meredith Stillwell, who's on our call here, and our office manager, she will help with that. And every box, there's about 200 maps per box. So we have those ready and available for you to pick up anytime. And again, all the libraries, I believe, have been fully stocked with them. So that's the paper copy. And at this point, because we did get the paper copy out later than we wanted to because COVID, I always like to blame COVID, right? Everyone else does, so I can do that too. So we are now, it says 2020, but it's really a 2021 map. And because we're so close, we would reprint in 22, but we're kind of so close to that already. We're probably just going to hold off till 2024 for the paper copy. However, we're in the process of finalizing the electronic map app. We're working with My City Bikes, a national bicycle application company, and we're looking to put together a bike map app for the entire Chicago, Southland, Northwest Indiana, pretty much from Joliet all the way to Michigan City and LaPorte County would be covered in this bike map app. So it's a large amount of territory. You're talking about a few million people within this corridor that we're looking to identify. And so we're trying to kind of get down to the last bit of detail and getting them the information. We're hoping to have a launch of that app, hopefully by the end of summer at this point. There are still some details to work out, but that will be a great supplement to the paper map. And we'll see as time goes on what kind of usership we'll get from each product. Some people still like having that paper map when they go out and they're on a bike. They like having the paper map, but things are being so ubiquitous on cell phones nowadays that everyone can pull up apps and kind of guide their way through communities and so forth that way. So I think the less paper maps we can produce, the better, in my opinion. But again, there is still an audience for those, and we respect that as well. So that's the update on the map app. As a matter of interest, there are layers to this bike map app. When we produce the bike map app, it will be a base layer showing you the trails, the on-road routes, the hiking routes, and all that jazz. That's great. You're going to get that. but a community, an entity or whatever can actually work with us at NERC. And working out these details, you can work with us at NERC to actually identify different businesses or different routes that you have in your community, or you want to highlight different ideas. As an example, the city of Denver, Colorado, they worked with My City Bikes separately on identifying businesses within their downtown district. Now that's separate from what we would do, but we can provide the platform for any entity to do that. Right now, we're working with Legacy Foundation out of Lake County, who might want to buy into that and identify businesses along trails or throughout communities that are easily accessible by bicycle. So that is one level. Another level are actually bicycle tours that we would offer for like tourism bureaus or chambers of commerce that want to identify different tours through the region. That's been done as well. So these are different layers that we're going to start rolling out to communities as well as other types of nonprofit entities that want to be part of it, and to kind of add value to the entire bike map app experience. So lots going on there. I know sometimes it's better with a presentation, but right now I really don't have one. So when this map gets released, I'll be more than happy to kind of roll this out in a much more robust and clear way. And at that point, provide you all as stakeholders an opportunity to maybe add in your local flavor to the map as well. So clear as mud. Any other questions on that?
So do you have an idea of just what it would cost for a community to have their stuff added? Is there a ballpark?
Yeah, there was a ballpark. This was talked about probably about 2 or 3 months ago. So I'm a little raw on it. It wasn't that exorbitant, by the way. There was an amount. There's like, if you want X number of businesses, it's this amount of money. If you want an unlimited amount of businesses, it's this amount of money. So it's in the few $100 range, but it just kind of depends on what you want and the level of detail that you desire. But I'll have far more details on that. I just kind of want to wet your whistle with that going forward.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great partnership for us to explore. So thanks.
Yeah, I know many communities in this region are very proud of what they offer in their downtown areas, and a lot of them do have trails that connect to those areas as well. So I certainly want to make sure people are on board with it.
Funded. Okay.
All right.
Proceed.
Thank you. We'll go to Petal, and I'm going to kick it off to my cohort in crime, Mr. Don Parker, for an update from South Shore Trails.
Thanks, Mikey.
Anytime.
So since the last meeting of this group, the only large project we've been involved with was they've now finished the streetscape plan for the town of Munster. It's a really terrific and comprehensive plan, and one of our steering committee members was also on the steering committee for that plan, doing that work. And so it's very comprehensive. It takes into account the future South Lake corridor train connection. It looks at the traffic patterns in the area and makes recommendations about some changes in the street plan itself. And then there's a lot of things that are, some consider amenities, but some also just consider them good things to have in a development plan to make an area more pedestrian friendly, such as refuge centers in a rebuilt avenue, so that pedestrians don't have to get all the way across the street if there's a lot of traffic, or if there's something like the pedestrian has to move slowly. So it's really a very exciting plan to take a look at. And it really doesn't have that much to do, from what I've seen, with the development that's taking place around the new 45th and Calumet project and all that's going on there. So there's going to be, I think, a lot of natural development in the future that connects up the two plans. And so we're very pleased with the fact that we were able to help some with the Munster. It's called the Calumet Ridge Streetscape Plan. So it's for that area around the Calumet Ridge intersection and corridor going mainly west on Ridge to the state line. And we were very honored to help with that. That's basically it. That's most of what we've been doing the past few months.
Great. Any questions for Don? If not, we'll proceed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll take the next two in order here. New trail counters. Last year, or maybe earlier this year, I kind of got out a mad email scramble to my local entities about trail counters. And I really appreciate the quick turnaround from people regarding their interest in this. I said at the time there was an outside funding agency that could help out with this, and or not an outside funding agency, that we have extra money in our UPWP to help out with this. And so we've received quite a bit of interest. I think nearly $300,000 worth of trail counter requests came into our office. That's great. I mean, just open up the wish list and see what comes out. I don't think we're going to be able to afford that much, but we might be able to afford a healthy amount of that request. Right now at NERPC, we're in the process of figuring out how much other initiatives are going to cost, kind of get some true costs out of the way. And that includes other planning initiatives that were applied for by NERPC staff and other avenues. So I hope to have more information on that within the next month, once we can kind of figure out some of the cost estimates of other initiatives. Speaking of that, another initiative is the next item on your agenda, which is the data bike. The data bike is a product that we're trying to use the same money for the trail counters. And in this case, it is as it says, it's a bicycle that would be able to ride up and down the regional trails and gauge the condition of those trails and help out with trail management for long-term strategies for maintenance and operations. Now, it sounds great. Problem is the software is $10,000 a year in propriety funds. We don't have that. And we are in the process of trying to get that whittled down. We have some people in the Chicago area that are looking to do the same thing and actually, as they say, kind of use the software and then kind of apply it and kind of reformat it so it's much more accessible for communities throughout the country, not just in the Chicago area. So we're going to try to glom onto what they're accomplishing and bring in that software package in this region and make it much more attractive. Once we get the data bike online, we will start working with entities. I know we have John Novosad from Cherville, and he is putting together quite the trail network. So we work with people like him and lend it out to them or go ride it and just kind of report back what we find. And then we can do that on a yearly basis and keep all the local entities up to date about the condition of their trails. Yes, it's true that one of our staff members will be riding a bike and being paid for it, but in a very technical fashion. So we're looking forward to that. And again, that's part of this planning money that we hope to get out there. And again, it's one of those kind of hurry up and wait things with us. And we just want to be very careful, make sure we're spending the money as best as we can. And we're just trying to see how that all pans out at this moment. So by the time we have another pedal and paddle meeting, I think it's October, I think a lot of these things will be taken care of, and they'll probably update it at subsequent technical planning committee meetings coming up in the next couple months. Any questions on those two items? Back to you, Andrew.
Not appear to be any. So we'll proceed.
You can go ahead with paddle. That would be Dan Plath if he's on. Yes, he is. There he is. Go ahead, Danny.
Yep, I am. So couple different updates what I had. sorry, it's been a little while since I've been on one of these calls. Zuli, I believe, had been representing the Paddling Association, but she's in transition right now, moving to Florida. So I'll reassume doing these updates for now, or maybe into the future. The other thing is actually kind of, I wear a lot of hats sometimes. And since Eric N has retired with the park, I've assumed most of the duties when it comes to trail compliance. Rafi and myself are kind of the two people who are keeping things moving on all that. So if there's things park related with trails, I'm happy to do updates on that too as well. So I could do that at the end after the paddling portion if you'd like, but I'd start out with the paddling stuff. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah,
hopefully this works.
Let me just stop sharing mine. Hold on a second here. Does he have sharing capabilities?
I think I do.
You shouldn't. I'm gonna
shouldn't.
do it. No one does except for staff.
Want you.
No, that's not what I meant. Let me add you right now.
Okay.
I got to stop sharing mine. Yeah, hold on.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Now you should be able to.
All right, let me see if this works. All right, so first thing, can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's sweet. That's a beautiful website.
Yes.
Yep, so the COVID wasn't a complete loss. The Paddling Association spent a lot of time last year working with Laura Krepp, who was recommended by Christine Livingston, who does a good bit of Indiana Dunes tourism's web design. So we completely redid our website with the Paddling Association over the last year. We launched this a couple months back. So I was going to just walk folks through that real quick. A lot of information in here, good stuff to point people to, if you're involved with anything paddling related. Also, we updated our logo. This is our new logo. No longer has the weird gray zombie looking people who are paddling kayaks. We actually have like real people who are paddling our kayaks, and updated a few other things. This is, I think, is supposed to represent a monarch. Instead, it used to be a Carner blue. Well, we don't have any Carners anymore, so we even updated our one of the species, what's in the plant in it. So a lot of what we get questions on with the paddlers is, where do you want to go paddling? When COVID hit, it's like biking. You can't buy a boat if you want to most of the time. So we were, we really, during the last, 15 months have concentrated on just keeping our water trails open and accessible. We just started restarting doing events. We suspended all events last year. We did our fun float last year, or 2 weeks ago, and over at Trail Creek, really good event. We put in some pretty good protocols around COVID with pre-registration. We don't have lines anymore. All the waivers are done online prior to the event. We do that through Eventbrite. We break up the groups rather than having like one mass start. We break it into 3 groups, so you don't have people kind of piled up at any given time. And then when they're on the ground with folks who are not vaccinated, we ask that they put on masks. And it did look like we had a little bit of compliance with that, but we were able to keep people moving pretty good at the last event. So we feel pretty good about our plan moving forward for this year. So kind of going back to the website, what we have in here is our mission, of course, upcoming events, and you'll have Eventbrites under these when you take and want to register for them. We're going to launch our next event, which is the Portage Lake Fest with LaPorte Parks Department later today. We'll be doing a paddling tour over there in July. And the only one we don't have on here, we just about have all the details worked out, is our Sand Hill crane paddle. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 more events plus a race coming up this year for the event. So it's a little bit more pared back this year for events with COVID too as well. It's a little harder getting volunteers rounded up. So we're really, concentrating on quality rather than quantity for events moving forward this year. Places to paddle. This has been real popular. So these are all different featured places that we put a bunch of work into, and it, catch somebody's attention. I want to learn about the Kankakee River Water Trail. So, here's the Kankakee Trail, information about it. Each one has kind of information on the safety, distances, different access points, where the locations are, distance in between points. Marquette Park, it's become a real popular paddling destination since we got our accessible ADA launch in there. Lake Michigan Water Trail, we've got a bunch of, here's the Little Cal East Branch. We put a lot of work into that over the last 10 years. It talks about locations, all the different access points. You can click on them to drill down a little bit further, even to learn about where that spot is. I think this actually takes you to a map where those public access points are, supposed to at least. Oh no, it takes you to the parks site. That's actually where our partners are. So like Shirley Hines is partners on several of them. So it'll take you to theirs. So we also have, places to paddle. We also have kind of real-time conditions. So like the Little Cal, when it floods, we put out advisories, to stay off the river. If we've got jams that are out there that are reported in, we report those now kind of as quickly as we get reports. Safety, we've got a ton on the safety side. Kind of guidelines, how to keep people safe on the water. We look at each different spot, like the Kankakee River versus Lake Michigan, totally different things to consider. Accessibility. Since 2015, when the Hanson Park access site was developed, we now have the most accessible canoe and kayak launches of any given region in the world at this point. We've got 10 of them, counting Elkhart County, which we just worked with over there, but we've got 8 right now in Northwest Indiana and a couple more in the works. So these have all the different accessible launch sites that we have in Northwest Indiana. So a little something that the region can brag on is working on accessibility, and these have been very well received. We're getting a lot of requests, people wanting to know where they're at, and we're getting a lot of people from out of state even coming to our region that are contacting us to know where the accessible launch sites are, because the popularity and a large segment of the paddling community is our seniors, and having this accessible launch sites makes it a lot easier than going off of boat ramps or muddy banks and things like that. So it's been very popular. Events, we have further on there. These are all our events for the year. Classes. One casualty of COVID is I'm now the only person who kept up with their continuing education for instructors. We used to have 4 instructors, now we're down to 1. So I'm going to be offering a couple of classes this year is my plans. I haven't set the dates yet, but that's coming out real soon. I'm going to offer an intro to kayaking and an intro to canoeing class. I've done a couple private ones for organizations like the National Park Service with our seasonals and some of our partners, but I'm going to offer a few classes this summer. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the sea kayak clinic, but we would like to do the Lake Michigan for beginners. So Unfortunately, the ACA didn't really offer waivers because a lot of people need to have continuing education, and most of our instructors weren't able to get what they needed in, so they lost their certifications last year, unfortunately. So we've got to do some rebuilding around our education front. But you know, the paddlers are getting restarted here. I didn't realize that somebody had a shirtless photo of me here. I'll have to talk to them about moving that one. I don't know. I think I'm less hairy in this picture than I currently am, so maybe I'll bring that one up. Sorry, just joking. So those are where we are for with our website. There's a bunch more stuff: how to join us, how to volunteer. We've ramped up a big paddling volunteer program called our River Crew, in partnership with the National Park, with Indiana Dunes National Park, that we share volunteers and kind of cross train them too as well. We've got 150 people now who are signed up for it. We're just getting ramped up with that. So we'll see how many people start showing up for our work days, but we've got several different work days scheduled beginning next Friday again. Our concentration right now is on maintaining and keeping the East Branch of Little Calumet River opened up. We went in early this year and got that open, but we need to do some additional work on it. We didn't get a recent grant through the National Parks Foundation. We didn't get our Chi-Cal grant last year, which, you know, us and our partners had kind of gotten used to getting because we wanted to expand the trail into Portage. So we're going to continue looking for money to try and expand the East Branch. I've got a meeting coming up to see if we can use rec fee money in the park and see if we can just self-fund it. And we've got the Porter County Drainage District, who's partnered with us too as well, kind of eager to get going on expanding the trail. We've got about 7 miles open right now, but we'd like to have it open from the Rookery to the lake. That's been our goal all along, but mostly because of funding reasons, we've only been able to get from Bromett Road to Howe Road open, but it's being well used. A lot of people are out there using it. Our ADA launch accessible launch that we put in at Howe Road is being well used too as well. And I think that's everything I have for a report. I could stop sharing, but check out our website. Come out to our events. We'll have boats that are available, but for all of our events, we want people to go through Eventbrite because we don't want people piled up, in lines, with the pandemic still going on at our event. So we're doing all of our registration, everything online.
Thank you, Dan. That was very
I think
informative.
that's everything I got. Any questions for me?
Yeah, Dan, Bob Oakland, Conservation Trust will not be involved in this year's fest at LaPorte Lakes, but we do plan to be involved in next year. So I just want to
that'll be great.
Mention that reminder.
We're all good on that.
Okay.
I just want to say it's great to have you here making the update, Dan. I think it's been a few moons since you've been before us.
Yeah.
You said during
I'll keep it on. Send me a meeting invite.
I'll make sure to
we'll keep it on my schedule.
Yeah. I will say that for all those on the line, I mean, when you say, things that we can brag about, the fact that we can just brag about you and the work that you've done with your group, with the Paddling Association, has just been beyond amazing. And I continue to be pleasantly surprised at the progress you continue to make. ADA launches, great website, great class offerings to make sure people can paddle safely and throughout the region. And something that we have a lot of elected officials on the line right now, people need to understand about Dan's group. They will work with you. They will work with you directly on opening up routes in your community. The best thing about water trails is that they're already there. You don't have to worry about telling people a trail's coming. It's already there. You just have to get to it.
Yeah, we went out. We went out scouting I went scouting with Shane Griffin the other day, last week, to see if there's any potential for Coffee Creek. So all I could say is no. It would be the worst water trail ever.
Yeah, I mean, no is an answer, but but at least they can go out there and
Concentrate on
scout
what we
that
got
out.
open.
But if there is
Yeah, it
one-
was, log jam after log jam. It's way too shallow, but this is one we've always wondered, it was always a lower priority. We wondered if there is any possibility, at least the section where we did from putting in like where Strax is over, we were trying to get it to downtown Chesterton, and it would probably take probably $500,000 to get it cleared out with how bad the log jams are in. So ecologically speaking, Coffee Creek is probably in worse shape than I thought, just because there's these massive jams that are like 30-40 foot thick of logs piled up on each other. I don't even see how the fish get through there, but the paddlers won't be planning on working on that on Coffee Creek. But it was pretty eye-opening to me to see how what the conditions are on the creek.
Well, again, Dan and his group are ready to help where they are asked. And I always, when people ask me about water trails, I just kind of push them right to Dan, and it's kind of like a turnkey operation. And can't thank you enough for your energy and your passion and making this a premier destination for water sports and paddling.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not all me. We've got an awesome board, awesome volunteers, and great partners. So if it wasn't for all them, it wouldn't happen.
Thank you,
You're the
Dan.
one here, so you get all the accolades. So there you go.
I think that's enough. Wonderful. Any other questions for Dan? Great.
I think I
thank you, Dan.
covered everything. So yeah.
Covered it. Well, good. Grab bag.
Hey, I'm going to share a couple of things real quick, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Go right ahead.
This is the picture of the Marquette Greenway. I should have had this up during my dialogue, but you should see the map right now. This is the current map as we are working towards its development. As you can see through the color codes, hopefully the colors are coming in like I'm seeing them. But you can see about 31 miles of it is either built or fully funded. And it's the other 29 miles that we're looking to work with to get this RAISE grant submitted and approved. And you can see those red segments, they're kind of equidistant between each other in Lakeport and LaPorte counties. And so that's what we're hoping to accomplish. I just wanted to show you how much of it is already done, and the fact that communities such as Burns Harbor and Michigan City and opening up, and even Gary later this year opening up new segments of the trail, continue to show the energy and the commitment behind getting this project done. So I just wanted to show that off. That's going to be part of the grant application, by the way, so that'll be made public shortly. The other thing I want to show, hopefully I didn't get rid of everybody. Did I get rid of everybody? Oh, you're all there. Okay, sorry. My screen just froze. I want to show one more thing. Okay, I'm going to show one more thing. And this is a bit of an interesting development. Hopefully it comes up. If it doesn't, then I'm sorry. Well, it's not going to come up. So what happened? Oh, it's going to come up. Here it is. Sorry. I'm not used to all the zooming around. So hold on a second.
You're a step ahead of the technology.
I'm too old for this. Okay, here we go. You're seeing a fact sheet before you. There's so much money being dialogued right now at Washington. It can make people's heads spin. And so here's another one to keep in mind. It's called the Invest in America Act. So you've heard about all this infrastructure talk with Biden and the Republicans, and they have this great, this is not it. This is a different animal, but it's the very animal that has kept our transportation funding afloat for forever, pretty much since the 40s and 50s. Every 4 to 5, maybe sometimes 6 years, Congress authorizes a giant transportation spending package. It has different names over the years. It's been called ICE-T and Safety Lou. The current one is called FAST Act. It's all an acronym. I'm not going to describe that. This one, at least, it says Invest in America. As you can see, Invest is probably an acronym too, so whatever. But this was just passed today by the House of Representatives. That means it still has to go through the Senate. This is to authorize the next 5 years in transportation funding throughout the country. Again, this is a separate deal than what is being described by President Biden and his Republican and Democrat bipartisan bill. This is what keeps our roads repaired and restored, as well as new improvements every 5 to 6 years. So this is critical. This is the money that we use at NERC to dole out for our transportation projects. I just wanted to go through this real quick. The fact sheet itself, you can see it's a $715 billion with a B dollar bill that would be spent over the next 5 years. You can see the amount that they are allocating. Roads, bridges, and safety has $343 billion. Again, that's money that we at NERC use to fund roadway projects throughout the region. There's also some money that has now been dedicated, to my knowledge, in this bill. This just got passed an hour ago, so I don't know what the amendments are flying around when they finally get this done. So I'll know later today how much money is actually afforded for trails, non-motorized transportation. That's the purpose of this group. I have heard as much as $200 to $300 million a year dedicated for trails and non-motorized transportation infrastructure, dedicated. So there's no other way around it. You have to spend it on that throughout the country. So that's a huge boost if that is the truth. You can see $109 billion is going to go to transit money. That'll help out with, obviously, what the South Shore is doing in our region. Passenger and freight rail is going to receive $95 billion. A lot of that is high speed, I'm sure, in parts of the country. And this is something that's interesting for people on the line that are elected officials. With drinking water infrastructure and assistance, over $117 billion for that, and then just over $51 billion for wastewater infrastructure. So I know many communities are dealing with aged waste treatment plant facilities and other types of old pipes within their communities and other types of needs. Well, hopefully this bill will help out with that as well. So it's kind of a different animal in the sense, I don't think I remember these type of amenities, these type of utilities being included in the broad transportation bill. Okay, usually it's just roads, bridges, transit, trails, but here we actually have water infrastructure as well as assistance that could be provided for local community aid. So that's an exciting endeavor as well. So going forward, that has been approved today by the House of Representatives. It still has to go in front of the Senate. So there's a lot more sausage making to be made on this. I am sure it is not going to be a $715 billion bill when it's all said and done. It'll probably be lower than that when the Senate gets their hands on it. But I'm thinking that by September or October, it will be approved. And of course, that's about the same time the next infrastructure bill. So the next infrastructure bill that they're talking about is in addition to this. So that's be another $1 trillion in addition to this. So lots of money is flying around. As I told you before about the ready funds that the state received. And I just will add one more thing just to confuse everybody solidly, that there is more trail money for the state. The Next Level Trails program is coming around the horn. It will be opened up for public applications come November 1st, and that'll be a 1-month turnaround. So I am looking to work with communities on their Next Level Trails application. We have done this successfully for other communities in this region. So if you have an interest, there are 2 flavors to this type of money. We have regional and we have local. So pretty much any type of trail project is eligible for this money. And it's very flexible. It's state money, it's not federal money. So you can use soft match, or you can use land dedications and so forth for the local match. And nonprofits are actually eligible to apply for this money as well. So we're willing to work with any and all entities that are looking to build trails in our region. And again, that's coming around the horn this fall. So I think that takes care of it for me. I'm going to stop sharing all this.
Great updates. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, grab bag.
Yeah. If there's any other announcements, does anyone have any announcements or events coming up in the region?
Upcoming events, announcements. There do not appear to be any.
Fireworks tomorrow, but that's.
Crown Point Parade is Sunday at 11.
We've got all the
Dan?
paddles that are coming up. July 31st is our next big paddling event. As far as that goes.
How was your fun float?
I was great. We capped it at 75 paddlers, and we did 3 waves of 25. It sold out almost instantly. It wasn't a sale, but it was free to paddle. But we didn't really want it any bigger than that, and it filled up almost immediately. So it was good. It went off without a hitch. No problems with online waivers. So we were really happy. You know, we thought we'd be a little rusty at it, being 2 years since the last time we did an event, but went off without a hitch. I was super happy.
What river was that?
I think, yeah, Dahlia was there. Wouldn't you say everything went smooth?
It was
That's
wonderful.
Trail Creek.
Trail Creek, by the way, Trail Creek, all right? Michigan City.
Trail
No,
Creek.
it's a great event, beautiful day, a lot of people, great attitude.
And again, I want to really emphasize Trail Creek because that was one of the first routes that NIPWA, Dan's group, helped get identified as a paddling route, getting launches installed and making it really accessible for people. And it's been a great success, and it's hopefully spurred more interest. And again, it was just a local creek running through the town, and they've turned it into this great recreation amenity. And there's so many of those opportunities in the region that I'm sure Dan would love to work with you on.
Thank you, Mitch. I know that we all know Mitch, but many of us may not be as familiar with Dan. We read about him in the paper, so it's nice to connect the name with the face. Is there anything else that needs to come before the committee? If not, then our next meeting is it in person?
Our next meeting is in October, and I'm sure it'll be in person by that time.
Okay.
But of course, we will let you all know via email and what have you. Hopefully by October, this is going to be not an issue anymore. You know, cross your legs, cross your fingers, cross everything. Yeah, we'll keep you informed.
Sounds good. Anything else from the group? I thank you all for joining today, and thank you, Mitch, and the NERC staff for your facilitating and everything that you do to make this make all of these things a reality, and all the help that you give to our communities. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Andrew.
If not, then this committee meeting's adjourned.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
Mitch.
Thank you.
Have a nice 4th of July,
Thank you.
everybody.
Have a good one.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Everyone.
Please be safe.